I'm Caitlin, and this is Book Chats. Welcome to my channel, and this is my June successes, struggles, and soon-to-bes. I want to thank you guys all right away. I'm considering this a huge success for the wonderful reception you had for the very first of these videos that I did last month. Other successes in June include going swing dancing with my younger sister. This is going to sound super silly and like also weird because you guys probably like, she's a super extrovert. Why would that be scary? But I was like not sure how I felt about going swing dancing. I am like a serial first timer. I basically go swing dancing once every 4 years. It ended up being like a really fun experience and really positive, and largely because this sounds so silly, guys, but it was like so revolutionary to me. I realized that if I wanted to dance with someone, I could just ask them like, hey, do you want to dance? And they could just say no if they didn't want to. And if they didn't want to, then I got to dance. And it was like revolutionary, and I didn't like stand around the corners like waiting to be asked all night. I just asked people, and it was like awesome, and I really loved it. Which brings me to the fact that this is a success of June. I have a bookshelf now. So I have A, significantly less boring background, and B, a place to store all of my books that isn't stacks and piles on the floor in my room. Less of a success, this is not all the books that I have in San Antonio, which, considering that I only moved here like 10 months ago, is kind of like, I was more consistent about posting in June than I was in May, which, I mean, the bar was pretty low because in May I posted like 3 times. I'm just really happy that I did a better job of posting, I did a better job of filming, I've done a better job of editing, and I'm pre-filming a bunch of stuff today. Saying that, it would be remiss of me not to mention that I hit 600 subscribers in June, which was super exciting and wonderful and something I totally didn't expect, and I am just so blessed to have all of you. Alongside that, of course, I haven't posted it yet, but I'm saying it in this video, so I will have to before this video goes up. I will definitely post the video that I made about why I haven't read Harry Potter. So I consider that a success. It's a really hard video to edit, and it is a really scary video to post. And so thank you to all of you for sticking with me after I posted that. And then you may have noticed in this video, I bought another really exciting bright lipstick, and I actually wore this one to work, and a bunch of people commented on it, and it was really cool, and I like took a Twitter selfie, and it just is a really positive experience, and it makes me happy that I like went for it and it worked out. And then the last success I'm going to talk about from June is really exciting. I have officially, as of today, as of like 3 hours ago, read 12 debut novels for the 2016 Debut Author Challenge. I had never completed this challenge this early in the year before. I want to thank everyone on YouTube and on Twitter and in my Goodreads friends who have been encouraging me to read these, my amazing library, the San Antonio Public Library, that has bought a ton of debuts for me and enabled me to read them, my friends who've lent me debuts, who have dialogued with me about debuts. The more we talk about debuts, the more excited I am to read them, and the faster I read them. That is kind of the sum of my successes section. So now we're going to talk about struggles. At the beginning it's going to seem silly, but at the end it'll be very real. Struggle number 1, I really struggled to motivate myself to actually take my online class. I'm signed up to audit like a Coursera course that it would really behoove me to learn for my profession. I signed up, I took like the first lesson, and I haven't touched it since, and I really need to do that. So I kind of knew this about myself, like it's really hard to motivate yourself to take online classes, but it's extra hard to motivate yourself to take online classes when you could be watching people's YouTube videos instead, or listening to audiobooks, or, you know, cleaning. Another thing I really struggle with in June, partly I think because I've been traveling a bunch, and partly because I haven't been paying attention as much to my cooking and menu setup, but I just had a lot of food waste, and it really bothered me. I have not been doing a great job of reading books that I own. I tend to preference reading library books because I have a due date, and because I get like shiny new things from the library, and I really need to read more of the books that I have just sitting on my shelf that I own. So that is something that I need to do more of in the future, especially because I'm going to be moving in September, and moving books is not very fun. And so hopefully before I move, I will have read more of them, and then I can send them off to new homes with my friends who have classroom libraries because they're teachers. As I mentioned, I'm moving in September. Adulting is hard, moving is hard. I am struggling to figure out where I'm moving to. This is not helpful with my like budgetary concerns, but I will figure it out, in theory. And in September, I'll let you guys know where I am. Not really, I'll still be in San Antonio. I'm adjusting it down because this is where we get really serious, guys. This is the really serious struggle. I I have come to realize that that I really struggle with gossip. You guys probably don't watch my channel, that I'm a Christian, and we'll kind of talk about our sins in the Christian community in like small groups or in your church, not usually like out just randomly. And I just kind of had tricked myself into believing that the sin I struggle with the most, idolizing self-control and the ability to do things on my own and like not relying on God. And so I like tricked myself into thinking that that was the only thing I really struggled with. And then in the last couple months, God has really made it clear, like, hey, Caitlin, you forgot that you really struggle with gossip. And I'm going to remind you that this just didn't go away, that you've just been ignoring it. So it was really kind of, it's hard to realize that you deceived yourself. And gossip is not pretty. It's not something that, you know, the world sees as fine and just Christians condemn. It is something that I think is pretty universally acknowledged as not a great thing. And I realized, like, I always kind of knew I had a tendency to overshare. I definitely overshare my own life, but I didn't realize how much of a problem I had with kind of like participating in or seeking out gossip about people that, you know, are third parties that aren't in the room, that I might not even know personally. And like just the dark kind of heart behind it. I just was in a couple situations where I realized that I was, you know, like relishing and pursuing gossip to feel part of a group. But then when I left, I was like, oh, now that I'm not in the room, are they gossiping about me? And that was something that, like, it just shows, like, the rotten core of gossip. And then also, like, today even, knowing that I would be talking about this in this video, I found myself totally on my own, independent of the other people, not like I was innocently swept up into this, on my own, looking up reviews for a book that, a book novella thing that came out that, like, the person who, one of the authors is someone who kind of, like, a friend of a friend of a friend knows. And I was looking for, I realized, like, I told myself when I was Goodreadsing it, oh, I'm looking to see if that was actually good, and I realized when I was reading reviews that I was actually looking to see people say it was bad. And I really, like, it called me to question and examine myself and my motivations. And it's funny because it's not like I'm jealous of, like, having that person having gotten published. I have no aspirations to publish. And, you know, I don't think I'm jealous of the position that person has in the communities that I'm part of, because I don't really aspire to that either. I don't believe. I think it's like I wanted it to not be that easy. And if it was not good, then it wouldn't have been that easy. I don't know. I still have to examine it and think about it. But this is clearly something that I'm really struggling with. And I'm not going to be able to solve it on my own. Like, I'm going to need God to help me. I think it would be a mistake to think that I can just self-control my way out of it. Examining kind of my heart and where I'm at and what would kind of prompt me to go seek out negative things about people. It's kind of like, I think this is a good analogy. If I'm like sitting there and reading, you know, celebrity gossip, or I'm gossiping about Taylor Swift and Tom Hiddleston, I'm doing it because to me they're not real people. And I want people that I know or I might know better to be real people to me. I don't want to other them like I do the celebrity of Taylor Swift and Tom Hiddleston. I don't want to assume that I know them or I know their motivations. And that is what I'm doing when I'm doing these things, when I'm gossiping or when I'm looking things up. So yeah, that is my biggest struggle of the last couple months, I believe. And I think it'll be a struggle that continues. I don't think it's going to be fixed right away. I guess if you guys catch me in situations, I mean, feel free to give me the gossip face. I don't know what that is, but we'll make up a signal. And you can help remind me not to be a little gossiping snot. It's hard when we realize that we are not who we think we are, and that when we see our own flaws more clearly, the flaws that we had been deceiving ourselves into believing did not exist. So, on a more positive note, it's time to talk about my soon-to-bes. I am pretty excited about some of the things upcoming in my life and upcoming in the life of this channel. One of those things is that I am restarting an old book club that I used to do. So I did this with my college friends a couple of years ago. Essentially, what we did is we would choose a book, read and annotate that book, and then send it to a designated person. And then we, at the same time, would be receiving a book from someone. Each month, we would send on the thing that we had, whether or not we finished it, and at the end of the allotted time period, we would get our book back. So I ended it initially because it was not as successful as I thought it would be, because the rate of return for books was only 33%, and a lot of books got lost, and people weren't super happy, and I wasn't able to fix it in the 3 rounds that I did it. But recently, a couple people have said to me, I really valued that even though it didn't work perfectly, and I would value it again even knowing it won't work perfectly. And so I'm going to be restarting it, and I'm really excited about it. I am also really excited that I might start doing cookbook or cooking related videos. I might start a bullet journal. A couple of my friends that I'm going to see this weekend have started it, and I kind of have wanted to do it for a while, and I know that some of you guys do them, and so I think I'm going to bite the bullet and, start a bullet journal. I mentioned that I'm going to be moving in September, and I know it'll be in San Antonio. I don't know where in San Antonio yet. There's a lot of logistics around that still needs to happen, but that is something that's coming up. Those are my successes, struggles, and soon-to-bes for the month of June. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know down below if you have any successes you want to celebrate from June, any struggles you want to talk about, and any soon-to-bes that you're excited for. Thanks for watching. Bye. Video format. Oh, the book just fell on my head. Good thing it was an arc.